Welcome back to Whitney Alex Works recap of The Bachelor Season 26, Episode 2. This episode features the women moving into the Bachelor Mansion, two group dates, and the season's first one-on-one date. And of course, competition to get Clayton's attention and love. Before we begin, please like and subscribe for more recap videos of Bachelor Nation shows with Whitney Alex Works. All right, let's dive into Episode 2 of Clayton's journey to find love. The remaining 22 women move into the iconic Bachelor Mansion in the Malibu Hills, and everyone is really excited to start this journey to find love with Clayton. Speaking of Clayton, he is seen reflecting on his night one experience and is still hopeful that his wife is one of the remaining 22 women. But of course, it's very early in his journey, so he has a lot of investigation to do. After the women are settled in, host and former Bachelor number 5, Jesse Palmer, comes in with the first date card of the season. Flight instructor Rachel reads aloud the names on the first group date, and 10 women are invited. 10 women are headed to the first group date, and it's a 10-to-1 ratio, which means each woman has a 10% chance of securing the group date rose. The women head to a Beverly Hills mansion where they head to the backyard and see a bunch of kids jumping in a bounce house. Then singer and actress Hilary Duff shows up and announces that she is a major Bachelor Nation fan and is also a mother of 3, and then tells the women that their job today is to help set up a kid's birthday party. The women get to work helping to set up the birthday party, with certain women having specific stations. Gabby has to set up a mini house, but Cassidy, who is supposed to help her, refuses to assist and uses the day to try and get some alone time with Clayton. She defends herself, saying that she isn't here for a kid's birthday party, but is only here to pursue Clayton. Cassidy seeks out Clayton and they head over to a pool and talks to him about how much she is feeling him. And then they start kissing pretty intensely. And meanwhile, the other women are feeling annoyed that Cassidy is trying to turn this group date into a one-on-one date. Then it's time for the birthday party, and a bunch of kids show up running for the bouncy house, and it's all fun and games to begin with Melina in charge of entertainment and Serene hosting a tea party. But Cassidy rubs the kids the wrong way, saying that she avoids kids in general, and Cassidy even drops the birthday cake, even laughing about it, and just having a carefree but nonchalant attitude about the whole situation, which pisses the other women off, especially Genevieve, who made that cake that she dropped. It's the nighttime portion of the first group date, and Clayton tells the women that he appreciates the effort put in by the women today, and he is excited to get to know the women more. We see Clayton talking to elementary school teacher Serene from Oklahoma, and they connect over how well Serene is with children, and they end up sharing their first kiss, which makes Serene in the running for the group date rose. Clayton also is seen connecting with his first impression rose, Teddy, who admits that despite their instant connection, it was hard to be on that group date already. But Clayton reassures Teddy that she should focus on what they have despite other connections, and they share their second kiss. Clayton is also featured connecting with Sierra and Gabby and Genevieve, who share a moment decorating a cake together after Genevieve's cake experience with Cassidy dropping it. And during this whole group date, the women are pissed off at Cassidy, who is rubbing everyone the wrong way. Dr. Kira calls her out for dipping out on her duties at the birthday party, and Cassidy is overconfident, and despite the heat directed toward her, she is focusing on her connection with Clayton, and they end up kissing even more, and Cassidy is showering Clayton with compliments and sweet-talking him, with Clayton oblivious to Cassidy's position in the house already as a potential red flag contestant. And at the end of the first group date, Clayton ends up giving the first group date rose to Cassidy, which unfortunately only solidifies her overconfident demeanor and further pisses off the other women who felt Cassidy didn't deserve it. Well, after the first group date rose, Susie, a wedding photographer from Virginia, is the first person to get a one-on-one date. Clayton and Susie head out and drive to their destination and reach a peak where there is a helicopter waiting for them. Susie is so excited and tells Clayton that this is the coolest thing she has done. And throughout the ride, Clayton and Susie are connecting and having a great time laughing and enjoying themselves together. And then they fly over the Bachelor Mansion where the women see them and they are a bit jealous, with Rachel, the flight instructor, noting that she should have been on that date because of her occupation. The helicopter then lands on a yacht out in the ocean, and Clayton and Susie go into a hot tub on the yacht where they talk about their date so far, and they are both so excited about each other, where Clayton says that he likes Susie's adventurous side, and they share their first kiss. Then they get out of the hot tub and decide to jump off the yacht and into the ocean. After the day portion, we meet up with Clayton and Susie heading to downtown Los Angeles, where they share a romantic dinner portion of their date. Clayton and Susie reflect on their date, and then they talk about their parents and how both of them have parents who have been together for 30 years plus. Susie then shares that her father has had some serious health problems, and it was a struggle for him to regain his health. And when he got better, her father was able to meet his grandchild, which Susie says that there was a possibility that that wouldn't have happened. Clayton listens and supports Susie, telling her that he appreciates her positive outlook on life, as Susie admits that she is still growing as a person. Then Clayton takes Susie and they head inside to a private concert by singer Amanda Jordan, where they slow dance to a love song, and then Clayton grabs the rose mid-song and asks Susie if she would accept his rose. Susie says yes, and they share a kiss and continue to slow dance together. So with Cassidy and Susie safe with the roses so far, there is another group date before the week is over. But before the next group date, there is some more drama brewing, and it has to do with Cassidy and Shanae, but they're not the ones that are fighting. Instead, they are sharing some bad energy vibes, working each other up to just go for the rose, where Shanae is going into the second group date with an eye on the prize, hoping to get the rose no matter what the cost. The next group date rose has an 8-to-1 ratio, with the women having a 12% chance of securing the group date rose. 3 women were not invited on a group date rose this week: Eliza, Hunter, and Jill, who has a little meltdown that she wasn't invited and says she misses her cat, which I'm sure all pet owners can relate to. So 8 women head out and they meet up with Clayton, and then they all head inside and are greeted by a comedian named Z-Way, who wants to help Clayton in his journey to find love and is hoping to find some relationship red flags. Z-Way treats the 8 women and Clayton to a game of Never Have I Ever, and then afterward, there is an obstacle course section of the date where the women have to race to get more time with Clayton. And Marlena, who is an Olympian, says she is an Olympian, and there is pressure for her to perform and destroy this competition. And the race is on with women running to down a whole jug of milk and having to jump on blocks of butter, where if they fall into the red goo, they get sent to the friend zone and are eliminated from the obstacle course. And this is where Shanae's claws come out, and she literally shoves Elizabeth, pushing her into the red goo. But even with Shanae's shady tactics, it's Sarah who breaks down the wall and gets to Clayton first, and they share their first kiss together. And honestly, I'm a little disappointed Marlena didn't win based on her being an Olympian athlete, but you never know with these quirky obstacle courses who the winner will actually be. So after everyone gets cleaned up, the 8 women head to the nighttime portion of the group date, hoping to spend more time with Clayton. Clayton shows up and tells the women that he had a great time with everyone and is looking forward to getting to know the women even more. And first to talk to him is Elizabeth, who continues to play Never Have I Ever with Clayton, and they end up sharing their first kiss together. Clayton is also seen connecting with Marlena, who tells Clayton she was an Olympian athlete. Clayton also continues to connect with Sarah, and they end up kissing some more. Another connection is with Rachel, who says she was sent to the friend zone during the obstacle course, but Clayton doesn't think she is in the friend zone, and they further their relationship. But during this group date, Shanae is self-imploding, putting unnecessary pressure on herself to secure the group date rose at any cost. And when Shanae talks to Clayton, she tells him that she cried a little because she wanted some time with him, and then decides to tell Clayton about red flags in the house already. and calls out Elizabeth for being rude, but there is nothing to really back that up, and this shocks Clayton, thinking that Elizabeth and him have a nice connection, and how could this be? And then he goes and talks to Elizabeth about what Shanae said to him, and Elizabeth defends herself, saying that it was Shanae who was starting unnecessary drama and actually shoved her during the obstacle course. And then Elizabeth then goes and confronts Shanae about starting drama, and Shanae calls out Elizabeth for being rude by not talking to her, or some made up story, it seems. And Elizabeth defends herself, saying that she has ADHD and she has to focus on conversations and has tunnel vision sometimes. And Shanae continues to be rude, as she admits in her confessionals that she just wanted Elizabeth to have a target on her back. But then the drama between these two spill over, and Shanae essentially shames Elizabeth for having ADHD, and it's honestly uncomfortable as Shanae crosses so many lines. But at the end of the group date, Clayton ends up giving the rose to Sarah, securing her another week with Clayton. We begin the cocktail party with some surprising rainfall in Southern California, where Clayton says that he wants a normal cocktail party, which probably isn't going to happen because the women are out to get each other so far. Clayton spends some time with three women who didn't get a date this week: Eliza, who starts a scrapbook with Clayton; Hunter, who shares a conversation with him; and Jill, who admits she has a hard time opening up. Clayton is also seen connecting with Gabby, who has another pillow of Clayton, a blow-up version of his face, and through her humor, Gabby and Clayton share their first kiss together. But sadly, we are back to the drama between Shanae and Elizabeth, who continue their new feud at the cocktail party, with Shanae continuing to shame Elizabeth about her mental health issues, which is just rude and uncalled for, which makes the women in the house turn on Shanae, her partner in crime Cassidy even turning on her. But Cassidy isn't out of the woods either, because shit is about to hit the fan. Cassidy is seen talking to Clayton and continuing to sweet talk him about how much she likes him. And Clayton says she is bold, but he likes that, and they end up kissing some more. But then Sierra comes around and talks to Clayton, and she wants to tell him something that she found out about none other than Cassidy. Sierra tells Clayton that Cassidy told her that she has a side piece back at home, just waiting for her to come back from the show, and there are some receipts through footage. And Clayton, upon hearing this, is shook. He steps away as Sierra immediately goes and tells Cassidy what she just told Clayton. And then Clayton is seen talking to Jesse Palmer and asks him if he can take a rose back, which he seems to be talking about Cassidy's rose. And then we are left with a cliffhanger, and it will be a full 2 weeks before we get this cocktail party's resolution. So to be continued. Thank you for watching Whitney Alex Works recap of The Bachelor Season 26, Episode 2, Week 2. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to Whitney Alex Works for more videos in the future. See you in 2 weeks for the continuation of Clayton's journey to find love with the remaining 22 women, as there is Monday night playoff football games that take precedent on ABC, and I told you that the NFL is taking over the Bachelor franchise in more ways than one. And on that note, see you in 2 weeks.